Hey everyone, I'm Tanisha. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Monarch Witch. This channel is named after the monarch butterfly because just like the monarch butterfly, our spiritual journey is to grow, learn, evolve, and transform constantly. So I'm here to teach you from my own spiritual experiences, as well as deliver channeled messages for the collective consciousness to help you awaken to your own spiritual gifts. So, to my viewers that have been watching my videos, you're probably wondering why I look a little bit Halloweeny today. I really wanted to dress up on Halloween, but I had a lot of responsibilities and things that I was busy with, so I didn't quite get the time to do that. So Halloween is one of my favorite holidays, so I wanted to do that even if it's still not Halloween. But also I'm dressed up this way because I'm honoring my deity Heckate today. And I did a video a while back where I dressed up to honor my spirit guide Sophia. And so I wanted to do one for Heckate as well, and share with you how her energy has helped me in the same way that I shared with you how Sophia's energy has helped me on my spiritual journey. And so I just quickly want to share with you what I believe gods, goddesses, deities, spirit guides, what they all are. And to do that, I have to share with you what I believe in as the overall energy is the energy of the divine mother and father. So a divine masculine, divine feminine energy that is outside and within all of us. Then all of these other gods, goddesses, deities, and guides that you get, just like us, are different representations of this energy, right? And so I'm sharing this with you because the version of Heckate that I work with may not resonate with you, but if she does, then I'm hoping that what she's taught me can help you on your journey. And that's the thing about the spirit world. It's multifaceted, right? There are so many different versions of one being or one thing, because everything that's being created is energy, and every version of it exists, every perception of it exists, right? And so there may be some people that are afraid of Heckate, because of the version of her that they don't resonate with, or maybe she's an energy that they're not meant to work with, or they just have a different perception on her, and so that's the version of her that will present herself to them. Because in this physical reality we are sort of just one thing and just tuned into one thing that we are, but we are so much more than that, and that's what the spirit world is, and Heckate, she's a very ancient energy, and so different versions of her have been created in different timelines by different people, but the original energy of her as well is a very ancient energy. And so on a lot of my videos, you'll hear me talk about the fact that I don't worship any being, because I will not hand my power away or put anything above me, but I do respect the beings, especially ancient ones like Heckate, because they contain so much knowledge from so many timelines and so many realms. So that's what Heckate is to me. She is a version of the overall energy of the Divine Mother and Father, of the light and dark, you know, and this is why also you'll see in a lot of cultures, their gods and goddesses like are often represented by more than two faces. Sometimes it can be multiple faces, and this is because I believe there are different versions of those deities, and in those times there might have only been a few versions, but you know, now there's been many different versions created. So I'm going to first talk to you about how Heckate presented herself to me, so that maybe if she's trying to present herself to you, you know, you might be able to realize that and work with her. But to tell you how she presented herself to me, I first have to tell you that to me, she's very much a more so a representation of the dark feminine and the darker energy. And throughout my life, I was very much in my light feminine, which, as you will see, when I did the video talking about Sophia, and she's a Pleiadian light being, she's very much light energy. So yeah, it worked out really interestingly that Heckate presented herself to me, because then I'm working with both the light feminine and the dark feminine. But yeah, so I was very much in my light feminine. It wasn't balanced with my dark feminine, and it kind of became like a negative version of light, which in some of my videos as well, I do talk about there being a negative version of light, positive version of light, negative version of darkness, and a positive version of darkness, okay? And the reason that it ended up being a negative version of light for me is because there was a lot of love for others, but there was no self-love, okay? So I would love others that weren't treating me well. I would treat them well even though they weren't treating me well. I would give them energy even though they weren't giving me energy back, you know, and it was just very much like love to everyone, which isn't a bad thing, but it was often at my own expense and often left me shattered and heartbroken, you know. It also meant that anything kind of darker I was quite fearful of, which meant for a long time, you know, I had scary experiences with the dark that I talk about on my channel. So those contributed to it as well. But also for a long time, you know, I was afraid of my gifts. I was afraid of my psychic gifts, you know, my gifts to do with witchcraft. I was afraid of being my authentic self, because I was afraid of that darker feminine version of myself, you know, which to me, the darker energy, the darker feminine, the positive version of it, is more about self-love and your authentic individual love, whereas the light is kind of more about the collective joint love. You know, so I was very much in just the light feminine, afraid of the dark, and ending up hurt a lot because of it. But I had always felt a calling to witchcraft, you know, since I was a little girl. I liked making like spells and potions, and would put together chanting, and you know, just was obsessed with anything like magical movies. I put offerings out for fairies. You know, I was very much interested in witchcraft, but very much shut it down because of my fear of the dark and of the unseen. Then there came a time where, although I was still very much in my light feminine energy, I was coming more and more into my authentic self and getting back into, you know, the magic that I used to believe in when I was a little girl. And as this happened, I started constantly dreaming about spiders and seeing spiders. And so like I would dream about spiders, I would see real physical spiders. Like there would be more spiders in my house than what there previously had been. And then I would also have like third eye visions of spiders as well. So I'd wake up with like spiders dangling above me, which with the energy I was in at that time actually terrified me. And so I was thinking I was being like cursed or attacked by something negative, and I was freaking out a bit. But I got this sort of inner knowing that I had to look into more like, what does the spider mean symbolically? And, what is the spider trying to tell me? And different animals and insects and bugs and things like that can mean different things to different people as well. And so the spider for me was something that I was scared of. My reaction to the spider was fear. And I was getting this inner knowing that it was time to face my fears, which was very symbolic of as well of the way that the spider was appearing to me. Because when I was seeing with my third eye, it was dangling on a web like right in front of my face. It was like I could not miss the spider, and so it was very much about facing my fears. And my fears were to do with, the dark energy and the magic that I was interested in and my authentic self. So I started embracing the symbol of the spider instead and facing those fears, starting my channel, experimenting with darker makeup looks, and doing a lot of shadow work as well. And then Heckate come up because I was watching the chilling adventures of Sabrina, and might have to give a bit of a spoiler warning here if you haven't watched it, so maybe just skip over this part if you have. But they originally are actually worshipping Satan, the witches in Sabrina, and he's kind of like, Satan is like the toxic masculine, and even though the witches work with him, he still kind of like lords his power over them and sees them as lower than him and everything like that. But at the end of it, they defeat him and they end up with a new mother and a new being to work with, and that is Heckate. And so after the spiders, I don't know how I knew when I saw Heckate on that series, but I knew she was linked because the spiders were about facing my fear. One of my fears was witchcraft, and she is the goddess of witchcraft. And so, those were the two main things on how she presented herself to me, were the spiders, because of what they meant to me, and then the movie, the series, right? And then after that, it was like I just saw her name, ornaments of her. She was just brought up everywhere. And along with her name, her being brought up on the movie and the spiders, it was also the overall energy that was presenting itself in my life as well. So for me, she was like a very harsh teacher, but harsh in a good way. She's like a fierce warrior, fierce protective mother type energy, and she is basically going to throw you into it when she thinks you're ready, sorry. She's just like, it's time to face your fears, bam, here's all of it at once. It's not like, let's just do step-by-step process through everything. No, it was just like thrown into it. But that worked for me because I kind of got catapulted into changes, catapulted into shadow work, because of the constant people pleasing and loving other people that were not treating me so well at my own expense, and sort of being whatever they wanted me to be. I'd also, just bottled up all these negative emotions or any negative, dark sort of feelings I had towards these people. And yeah, when the energy of Heckate come into my life, let's just say that was no longer going to be bottled. That was out through the throat chakra and spoken. Like, and so the energy of like anger was one thing that come up, which, being angry had scared me because I was worried about losing people when I showed that anger. But anger can also be a positive force in your life, because anger creates change when you're not happy with something as well. So yeah, she helped me come to terms with my negative emotions, do the shadow work, and through doing the shadow work as well, I was able to give love to the parts of myself that I hadn't given love to before, and acknowledge how those parts had now like created a new me as well. And the beauty in darkness, and the beauty in death and rebirth, and because to me she's all of those things. She's death, she's rebirth, she's the underworld, which like I feel like spiders are associated with the underworld as well. They create webs, which is like creating your own reality, and she was a big part of, you can take control of your own life. I was kind of stuck in this victim mentality where I was like, why do people keep treating me horribly? And it was like, well, because I was allowing it. And that's what she helped me realize as well, is, that we can be very sacred with our energy, and we don't have to just let anybody in. She connected me very much to my intuition, my gut feelings on people. And, since her energies come into my life as well, I'm a lot more selective on who I let into my inner circle. And, I don't just blindly trust people anymore either. Leads me into another symbol that she's associated with, and that's the moon. And the moon is very associated to the dark feminine and emotions. And our emotions, while I don't believe we should let them rule us, are very powerful and are usually trying to tell us something as well. And so she's very connected to the moon as well. And when I was a little girl, I drew a tattoo that I wanted as well. This is not to do with the moon, this is another symbol. I drew a tattoo of a black rose, and the stem of the black rose was forming the shape of a circle, which I then turned into like a yin yang symbol with the leaves of the rose. And I wish I had the picture to show you. Unfortunately, I've lost it, but that's just the black rose, the light and dark, the balance, kind of, that's to me is all symbolic of her as well. So it's like, I drew that tattoo when I was younger, and so it's before you'd had all the conditioning to tell you that, not to be your authentic self and that it's not acceptable. And so it's like from a young age, I subconsciously knew that dark was beautiful as well. And it's just like, some of the most amazing art as well comes from suffering, from chaos, from darkness. Some of the most amazing creativity comes from that as well. And so that's also to me what she is associated with as well, is art and creativity, because being the goddess of witchcraft, You know, witchcraft is artistic and creative as well. Many witches that I know bring art into their witchcraft as well. So, you know, in a nutshell, she helped me with so much, but overall, through just catapulting me into shadow work, facing my fears, delving into the underworld, bringing my creative side out again, she just helped me be my authentic self with no apologies, you know? And like I used to look at the characters in movies or in TV series, you know that girl, like I would say she's usually representing the dark feminine, where she's like punk rock, dark makeup, doesn't give a toss what people think about her, you know, and often is like seen as being quite mean, but also quite like intelligent, but she's usually like mean, distrusting, but you know, sort of doesn't give a crap what people think of her. And so I always used to look at that girl and be like, I want to be like her, but be afraid to be like her. And so I feel like, you know, I didn't fully turn into that girl because I'm balancing the dark with light, and but it's like I brought that archetype into my life as well, where it's like I am who I am now, and if you resonate with that and you want to come on this journey with me, then come along, and if not, well, so be it. You know, it's not caring what people think of me so much anymore. The old me before Heckate would have never done the YouTube videos, would have never openly talked about witchcraft, would have never got dressed up like this and you know, put myself on video for the world to see. Like, she's just helped me so immensely be my authentic self. And being your authentic self does come from your shadow and your darkness as well. And one more thing that I forgot to mention, like such an important thing that she's associated with for me, is black cats. You know, because they're known as witches' cats, and as our familiars, which I could do a whole nother video on familiars. But yeah, panthers have always been a favorite animal of mine, just because, you know, they've got grace, they've got beauty, they've got elegance, and you know, just their representation of the darkness as well. Cats in general to me are, because you know, they're very self-sufficient, they're very self-orientated, they give their love, but they're very selective of who they give their love to. You know, that's cats. And just as like a little bit of a treat to any cat lovers out there, I'm going to show you my cat Salem as well. This is my cat. So this is Salem, and I actually went and got him at the time that Heckate come into my life as well. And he is a rescue cat. He was abandoned. But yeah, he's beautiful and he's my familiar. And he doesn't look very impressed right now, does he? I'll put him down in a minute. But yeah, he's a very placid, loving cat, and he just has a very calming energy as well. So that's the thing about the darker energy as well. I think it can be chaotic and destructive, but it can also be calm and peaceful, like him as well. All right, I'll let you go now, buddy. So, if I have missed you know, any symbols that she's associated with, or any energy that she presents or can help with, you know, I'd love to hear from people who work with her in the comments, and I'd love you to share your knowledge on working with her and, you know, things that you have learned with other people that may be interested in working with her as well. And I also just want to thank everyone who has contributed any kind of energy towards my channel, because we actually made it to 3,000 views, and my channel is growing, and you know, I couldn't do that without you guys. I couldn't spread this information around and try and help others with what I've learned from my own experiences without you guys. So thank you so much for that. And I also wanted to apologize that I hadn't regularly been doing videos. I've been trying to do them every day, so my YouTube videos every day, but there has been sort of many things that have come up in the last week. We had some health issues with my dog. She's good now. We're just managing it on medication. But also, my partner was on annual leave from work, and we very rarely get to spend time with him. He is really busy working to provide for his family, and we're very grateful for that. And so I just, you know, want to put forward the importance of spending time with the ones that you love as well. And so I wasn't doing my videos because he was on his annual leave, and I was really cherishing that time with him and the children that we very rarely get, you know. So yeah, sorry about not doing the videos regularly, but I'm getting back to that now. The other thing that didn't happen because of those things was me doing the healing rituals to balance the suffering in the world on my Patreon. And that is going to be happening this Friday now as well. So if that's something you're interested in, joining my coven, the Monarch Witches, on Patreon, we are going to be doing live rituals to help heal the suffering in the world and just help balance that. And if you become a paying member, I am going to be putting my own personal spells on there as well that I have created and used and know have worked in my life as well. So if you're interested in any of that, I'll link that in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely day or night wherever you are.